Hello, empowered woman. Welcome to this episode of the Empowered Woman podcast. Today, I've decided to, instead of outlining my new program, Show Up Empowered, and tell you why you should join, I decided to have one of my clients do the job for me because, social proof. I had a chat with Carelyn Torres live inside my Facebook group, the Empowered Woman Community, a couple days ago, and I have repurposed the audio from the video for you. She shared how working together has given her more confidence, more clarity, and how she's been seeing the results in more engagement, more people resonating with her message, and more clients. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on personal growth, visibility, and profit for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to start believing in yourself, giving yourself permission to succeed, and let your voice be heard to make an impact in the world as an entrepreneur, this is the place for you. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, triplet mom, woman empowerment coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode. I am so excited to have Carelyn join us here today. So I invited her to have a quick chat. Hi, Jen, on her experience working with me and, of course, talking about showing up empowered. But first, let's just jump right in and have her introduce herself for those of you who don't know who the amazing Carelyn Torres is.
Aw, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be here. There's so much stuff that we could talk about, Martha. I think we all know. We're in the group, right? So anyhow, so my name is Carelyn Torres. I am a former engineer turned health and lifestyle coach. And I specifically helps mom in business really get back into their bodies, reconnect with their intuition, and meet their needs, prioritize their health, because I feel like that's like we all have, right? We're a mom, we're business owners, and we are wives or partners. And it's not a matter of choosing and trying to find that balance between all of them. It's a matter of integrating them all together. So it's like, how can you work together as a whole so you can truly look and feel your best while making the impact that you want? So that's
Yes. I love that. Well, and quick background story, my version. We connected, I don't know. I even want to say 4 years ago, maybe. It was maybe around three. Because it was right around the time when I released my podcast or launched my podcast, which was in 2018. And I was looking for guests, and then we connected in I think the Boss Mom, the entrepreneur group. And you were on my podcast. You were one of the first guests on my podcast back in the day. It's called Mom Does It All. So it was all about moms, and you talked about health and things like that. And then we kind of stayed connected. I mean, just, online friends and, seeing each other's stuff here and there. And then it was last year that you joined the Empowered Woman School, and we've been working together. And so I'd love to hear from you where you were at in your business at that point when you decided to join. What was the reason for that? And then we'll get into how things started changing after that.
Yeah, no problem. So we've known each other for a while now, and I've seen kind of like your growth, and from 2018 to where you're at now. And then I've seen that you are almost everywhere. Like, I see you in LinkedIn, I see you in Facebook, I see you in Instagram. It's like, how does she do it? She has triplets. She has she's an interpreter, and it's like, oh my God. And it's like, and I have kids too. I have 2 kids, and it's like, but I only focus on my business, and I have a hard time. Back then I had a hard time putting content out there consistently and showing up consistently. It's like, how does she do it? So that's kind of the main reason why I decided to join. Back when I joined, it was, I think, in probably December. You were doing the whole thing of, I think that's when you came up with the Engage to Serve method. That is your proprietary method on how you create the content. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw your process, and I was like, I can do that. So that's kind of the main reason why I decided to join the school. And in terms of where I was really struggling with creating content, because I was more on the set of what am I going to talk about today? And I didn't really have like a full strategy of what I'm going to do. And it was just kind of based on inspiration. And sometimes I was able to pull it, sometimes I wasn't. And it was like creating content and more content every single day was exhausting. And I didn't really like it. So it was hard for me to stay consistent on that rhythm.
Yeah.
But I saw you, and then I saw the thing, and I was like, oh, that seems pretty simple to do. It's like, let me do. And then it was a no-brainer back then. And I think still it's a very good price, but it was much a no-brainer
Yes.
to join the school. So it was like, why not?
Awesome. Yeah. And I love that you touched on the whole content creation piece, which is obviously what I focus on, but the idea of people have this assumption that, oh, let me do it when I'm inspired. Or if you're not feeling particularly inspired, then the marketing doesn't happen that day or those weeks. And that is a dangerous place to be in when you're the face of your business and you need to be talking about, you know, your stuff and you need to be making sales. I mean, we want to be making sales. That's where we're in business. And that's one of the things that I have really, really focused on, especially starting last year, was in creating steps and a method for you to have on-demand content creation. So it's not something, it's like, let me see if, you know, a lightning strikes my head and I will have the inspiration right now to write something. And it's like, no, you have an offer, you have a method. Let's break this down. And this is essentially your content. So tell us how things have evolved for you and how things have changed in terms of you showing up more consistently and actually having a strategy. How has that fit in your business? How have you adapted and what have been the results?
So it's been amazing because one, it has let me room to grow in general. So my business has evolved from last year to this year, like tremendously. There's been just a lot of growth in general. And what I like about, again, your approach is the simplicity as it is. So it's like, it's not something that I needed to spend hours, because I don't want to spend hours putting together something for it to then not be in alignment with myself or not really work for me. And it's like, you know, we all have been there where we kind of put this doesn't work, or for some reason it's not working for me or whatever. It's an easy approach that you can implement and you can start kind of like evolving with it, or your business can evolve with it, the process. I always like that you say, like, this is the framework, you do make it work for you, which in essence, yes, that's how it works for everything that we do. And it just has helped me. Like, even now, I was like, oh, what I'm going to post. I was like, oh, shoot, yes, this piece of content, let's put it in there.
Yeah.
I had the idea for a long time that I had to come up with new content. Being repetitive was going to be something, oh, people are going to be bored, or people know that I did. And it was just a shift in mindset, in the sense of like, people do need repetition and people need to see things more than once to really start grasping the message. And I have seen this throughout. I not necessarily repeating the content all over like every single day, but seeing that, oh, this, like, I was talking about about a month or so about values and stuff, right? And I'm repeating because my upcoming workshop is all about values and stuff like that. And back then I didn't see much engagement, but what I'm posting today, I am seeing the engagement. So it's just a matter of like, and you say it in your framework, how can you start shifting the messaging, still in the same realm, but shifting the messaging a little bit so people start engaging and commenting and really resonating with it. And it's just been amazing. And then even when I have worked with you for this, for the past 6-7 months or so. Yeah. And even with what you shared on the challenge, it was just like an eye-opening. It was like, oh, I can apply this to my content. It's like, let me do this. And people are responding. So long story short, just to say, I am definitely more consistent. I am posting almost daily. I don't do weekends, but that's just personal preference. Or if I do, I just do one thing or something, like something quick and stuff. And it's just, and people are noticing. And I do know, because people are messaging and saying, hey, I'm noticing this. Like, even earlier today, I was like, somebody sent me a message, this hit home. Like, with what I posted today, is like, I've been through, and then she just shared her story with me. I was like, wow, I didn't know that. But it's like, I'm glad that you are no longer there and all that stuff. So it's just, I am seeing people reaching out and commenting, oh, I'm seeing you this and da 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 da. So it's like, people are seeing me. So I am visible, even though I am a private person that had a struggle with that.
That's what I was going to get into. So before we get into that, because I was going to touch on two things.
Yeah.
First, that you said, I don't post on weekends, or I'm posting every day. I think maybe some people will hear this and they're like, I don't want to post every day. Screw this. Don't need this method. And it's all a matter of, back to what you were saying, becoming more visible. And you dictate what that is going to look like. If you don't want to do every day, you could still be staying consistent with your messaging and showing up so that people will eventually catch the drift. Something else that you said that I really loved is that you watched my challenge, and I mean, you have access to all of my stuff with being in the school. You've been around me for a while, but even I am constantly improving my messaging on helping people improve their message, because as you dive into your own content, these new little doors in your brain start opening up. It's like, oh my gosh, I could talk about this one aspect for a whole week, or I could create an offer on this one aspect. Like the possibilities are endless. So that's something else that I love that you touched on, and something else as well, because I remember at certain points we would message back and forth. I'm like, oh, I don't feel like people are resonating, or I don't see so much engagement. But then over time, you have noticed people have been commenting and messaging you more, because you stay consistent with that piece of content in different ways. So there is a repetition. It's not word for word repetition, but it's a consistency. It's a strategic consistency. It's not just I'm posting every day. When you hear somebody say that, this could mean several things, right? Just random stuff. That doesn't mean you're going to get sales. But if you're actually having a strategy with a repetition, then people are going to start resonating, and it all compounds. And that's something that I always say, because at first when people see what I talk about, they're like, I don't want to post every day. I don't want to do all these things. It seems extremely overwhelming. But the thing that I want everyone to remember is all about momentum. Because if you're staying consistent, you're going to be more visible. People are going to notice, and it builds on itself. So the first few weeks, the first month that you do this, you may not see the results that you will see 3 months from now, 6 months from now, which is exactly what you described. Yes? Awesome. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to touch on was this week, I've been talking a lot about showing up, obviously, with the launch of my program. And yesterday I put up a post saying, would you rather hide and make sales, or would you rather be on the spotlight and make sales? And that I know many people look at me and think, well, this is easy for you to show up empowered. You love being in front of people. I'm not that person, which means unless I want to be like you, Marta, which I do not, no offense taken, it's not going to work for me. And then you commented and you said, I have thought that. So can you expand on that, and with you being more private too?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I do know that you love the spotlight. Like you videos where you sing and you're like, oh, I want to be here. And like I get that vibe from you, and you want to do public speaking. And I do want to do that. But I have never been the person to want to be the center of attention, if that makes sense. Not to say that you're that, but you give me a vibe sort of like you like it, you enjoy it. Yeah. So I've always been sort of like this person, kind of like I'm an observer, and then I come in and say and all that stuff. Like if it's a small group, I don't mind. Like I'm very open and everything. But the online world for me, it was like, oh my God, all this eyes on you, which in essence is not true. Yes and no. But it's like we often put all those things and limiting beliefs on ourselves. Is like, oh, people are watching. I need to be careful. And what do I say? Or how do I show up? Because I don't want to be in anybody's mouth, or I don't want people to judge me and all that stuff. So I had to overcome a lot of that stuff. And really, one of the things that made a mark for me, and this is just in general for everybody's career, has been, it's not about me. It's about who do I get to be a blessing to? And seeing you just show up so raw, like right now, like you like to be putting makeup and all that stuff, and now you're with an updo and just like relax. And you were
just finished my workout, so I'm sweaty. I'm like, it's okay. We're all family.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but it's just seeing you show up like this is like, oh, I can do that. Like, I don't have to be, and I don't necessarily want to be the spotlight or the center of attention, but it gives myself permission on, I get to show up just as I am and be fine with it. And I get to share my message because, again, this is not about me. It's about the gifts that I have received and who can I be blessed, or who can I be a blessing to? And I get to do that, putting myself out there and being visible and showing up consistently, even though, I'm not, you'll probably not catch me singing or doing some of that stuff online, but Yeah, but I can show up, and
Right.
and it feels good to me, even though again I'm a private person or somebody who doesn't want to be like the center of attention. It feels good because
Yeah.
again I have made it work for me, but in a way that it's in alignment with myself. 'Cause
Right.
otherwise, if I'm pushing or if I'm trying to force myself to be just like you, it will most likely not going to work for me. So it's
Yeah.
just, I would say be flexible, be open, and just do it.
Yeah. And I love the shift that you shared of, I don't want to be like that. That's not my inclination. That's not my personality. So what do you hold on to at the end of the day, which all of us entrepreneurs should hold on to, is who am I, who am I doing a disservice to by not showing up? That's the real thing. Because if you're really serious about serving and helping with your business, which that should be the mission more so than the money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you need to be thinking about these people, because if you're hiding, and then usually people use the excuse of, I'm an introvert, I can't do that. So I have an excuse to not show up. But it's like, but what about the people that could be missing out on your message because you're saying that because you're an introvert, you can't show up? No, you can, but you have to show up like you. And I love that you shared that you're not this person that likes the spotlight, because there are other people that I work with that are like this, that love being the center of attention. They love, being on stages and things like that. But that does not mean that they have to be like me. That does not mean that introverts have to be like me for what I teach to work. And so I am so glad that this came about, because when I invited you to chat, I wanted to talk more about the consistency and all of that and seeing the results. But then yesterday when you commented and said, I'm not like that, I was like, oh my gosh, we need to get into this, because this is exactly a little bit of my worry at times, because I have heard from many that say, and even at times from mentors that say, people want to work with me. They know that you're my client, Marta, and they say, I'm not Marta. Is this going to work out for me? And it's like, I don't want anyone to be like me. I want you to be like yourself, because ultimately that's what people resonate with. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So before you let us know about your workshop and how to find you and all that good stuff, I would love to a quick summary of why would you encourage somebody to join specifically the Show Up Empowered program, now that you've seen the details after I released it last week.
So I'm very excited about this program. I feel like, oh my God, this is especially like if you're a person who has been struggling with putting out there the content consistently, and putting like yourself out there, like this. I don't know if you've seen all the details, but this is it. Like this is the program to be part of it. If you haven't, I don't know if you still have the challenge videos up, but if you haven't seen them, like go and see them and just have a taste of what it is. But I mean, the different things, like you're going with the avatar, it's a little bit different. You're going more for psychology rather than getting into the details of who this person is that a lot of us get hung up on and is like, it's something dreading. Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent is important, but at the same time, how you're showing, how you're teaching it, I do that approach, at least for me for now, it does resonate more. Mm-hmm. So I can go in with the psychology aspects rather than the demographical aspects right now. And it's like that I could maybe learn from my avatar the more I go and continue to grow in my business. Mm-hmm. So I can really like, target a specific person, but for now is like, this is how I get to do it. And I feel good with it. And then it's like the messaging and putting the content out there. And I'm not sure what else, I can't remember all the details, but it goes into the process to how you can start showing up consistently. And I love your support. I love your energy. I love, just in general, like how you are, for example, how I came up about how I'm showing up this month, for example, when I originally talked to you about the idea, it was a totally different idea. And she was like, how can you spin it this way? So you have kind of helped me see or kind of shift things in a different way, which were like, oh my God, I didn't see it this way. So your support, your the coaching and you being there have definitely opened up myself to a lot of different things. So this container will have all that content, plus your support, plus the other ladies that have joined. So it's just, I feel it's a no-brainer. Plus the whole fact that every time you release it, the person will have access to it. Yeah. I think it's amazing because again, as we evolve, we get to retouch in those things. And it's like, why not do it in a group setting? and with your sport. So that's in a nutshell what I would say. Just like go for it, because I feel like you're going to be well supported. It's going to be great content. And if you just I would say jump, take the leap. But if you're just wanting to know, just go ahead and watch the videos and you'll see how good it is.
Yes. I was even surprised myself as I was coming up with the content. And this is what I say, like, isn't that a little bit of what you've experienced once you started really refining your content? You're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And the stories you start coming up with, like, you start becoming proud of yourself that you have such wisdom in your head. And so a lot of this showing up empowered has to do with you being proud of yourself and being so confident that what your message is powerful and it's going to change people's lives. So thank you so much for that, Carelyn. And so tell us more about the workshop that you're having tomorrow so people can still sign up and come in. I am going to be attending. I am so excited for it. So tell us.
I'm very excited. So it's all about realigning your life. So often, and I really love how you pointed out, sometimes I was like, listen to Martha, because sometimes I tend to overcomplicate things. And it's just like, but in the simplest ways is like, if you have seen yourself or have noticed yourself wanting something and doing something totally different, is like, it's usually all about being misaligned with your values and your goals, and really just kind of like not staying true to yourself, which again, it kind of goes with the conversation.
Yeah.
So, and that often leaves us feeling stressed and frustrated and really robs our joy and our energy and everything. So the intention with this workshop, which I'm very excited about, is really about sharing the 4 steps that you get to realign your life so you can actually experience more joy and energy and satisfaction. Is like, so you can actually go to bed feeling like you did your best and just like you're proud of yourself and stuff. And it's not anything that it's too out there in the sense of like it's complicated process or like nothing that I have time for it. It's something that it's really like, if you love the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs personality test or human design, this is just another tool. Like values are another tool for you to get to know yourself. And what I feel like when I started talking about values, it was like people were not really responding much, but there's just so much that they guide you in terms of how you act and how you think that, and you even said it, like I have had so many breakthroughs with your content because it's all around that alignment. And if you truly are not where you want to be, I would say take a step back and look at your values and make sure that they're aligned with your vision and your goals, because that's what's going to really drive you to where you desire to be. And if you want to be part of my workshop, I'm more than happy to have you. And you can do it in carelyntorres.com//realign, like REALIGN. Sorry, like in present tense, realign. Yeah. And I'll put the link in the comments. Yeah.
Amazing. I love it. You have anything else to say?
No, just like I'm very excited about it. And I'm actually putting the content together, like the workshop workbook together. And I'm very excited about it. It's like,
and you're offering a Q&A too, right? Afterwards, you said.
Say that again.
You're having a Q&A afterwards too. So you have the workshop that is a couple hours tomorrow.
I have the workshop that's going to be a couple hours tomorrow. Replay will be available. There's going to be a workbook that's going to be part of it. There's going to be meditation, which I haven't really announced about it too. And there's going to be a Q&A call afterwards, because I feel like often when we get pumped up, we do the work, and then what we need to revisit is like, oh shoot, what is this? What is that? Or I have all these questions. There's going to be a Q&A session afterwards next week or so, or 2 weeks from now, for us to answer all the questions so you can really have everything in place for you to start to live in alignment.
That's so exciting. Oh my gosh. And that's another thing that I'm super proud of in working with women with their content, is that I start seeing, as I understand more, because I'm giving tips on how to make it clear, I'm like, oh, I need this too. So it's just so fun to be a part of this development. And this is something that started happening to me last year, and why I got onto this journey of the content stuff is because I realized that people support what they help create. It's just the way that it is. So if you really learn to involve people in your content, and in my case, because this is what I do, I'm being involved too. It's like, this is amazing. I want in too. And it's just an amazing way to collaborate, to give back. So that's something else that we got into the container of content creation, is that I'm hiring people because I'm helping them with the content. And then as you're developing content with other people, that's opportunity for you to get clients as well, because they're going to see the behind the scenes of you creating the content. They're going to start loving you, believing in you, even, without necessarily looking at the promotion, because everything is a promotion anyways. And there's just so much opportunity for collaborations, for growth, for more clients, for referrals. So yeah, I love our community.
I love it too. I mean, I know this is not necessarily about the Empower Women School, but yes, that's one of the things I do love about your community, what you have built, and the support that we have in each other. It was like the collaboration that we have with each other too. But yeah, it's just, there's so many. I mean, again, I know this is about the other offer, but there's just so many plus to have you or me being part of your community in general. So
yes, yeah. Amazing.
How was that? Did that make it clear on how I can help you show up empowered? I was a little bit of an abrupt ending there because then I went off just talking about other stuff. So I cut that off, but I do want to expand on a few questions that I've received about the program. Obviously, you can see all the details on my website, martasburke.com/show-up-empowered. I will have the link in the show notes. But a few, throughout the week, a few ladies that I've been in touch with have asked some very, very relevant questions, and I thought I would clarify that in case you're thinking the same thing and on the fence on joining. So the first thing is, what if I'm busy and I can't make the calls? Because it's a 6-week program, and we're going to be meeting every single week for our coaching call. So every call is going to be recorded, and you can watch the replay indefinitely because you're going to have lifetime access. But the kicker here is that when you jump in at the current launch rate, and you can start with as little as $167 with the payment plan, you have access to future live rounds. And I will be increasing the price to $777 when paid in full next time I run this, probably in January. So if you know you need this help and maybe you can't commit right now, timing or whatever, jump in anyways, because every future round is included in this price. And many ladies have joined because of this very reason, because they know they're going to have access to it afterwards. Next thing, is this just for coaches? No, this is for any business owner who wants to talk about their offers with more confidence and increase sales, meaning every business owner. If you have an offer, you need to be able to talk about it in a compelling way. And that's where I come in. And finally, I've also heard from people, I suck at taking action. What if I invest in this and I still don't take action? Well, ultimately, I can't make you do anything. However, I am a performance extraordinaire, and I have been known to light fire under people's butts. But all pleasantries aside, the program is really designed with clear, specific steps to ensure that taking action becomes second nature for you through consistency and through strategy. I already have, at this time when I'm recording this, I already have 10 ladies signed up, and I'm holding space for 10 more. Could it be you? I would love to have you. So go on ahead, martasburke.com/show-up-empower. The link is all over my social media and in the show notes. I would love to have you join us. Until next time, bye.